Could be best described as a real-life Robocop. They're calling it TeleBot. It would allow officers to remotely control a robot based on their own movements. We think it's cool. Christina Warren is the senior tech analyst at Mashable.com, and she's in studio. And you think it's cool, too.
It's very cool.
What's cool about it?
So they're able to do this using a lot of off-the-shelf parts. I mean, they're not using a lot of expensive equipment. They're using the Oculus Rift, which is a video game virtual reality headset that's about $500. And these students are able to build this telepresence robot.
So you're saying off-the-shelf is more common.
Right, meaning that they're not going to a specialized contractor. They're not going to the military or spending tens of thousands of dollars on one specific part.
You see what they're doing here, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what's being developed there.
So what they're basically doing is they've got a system in place where there's a camera that's being controlled and viewed from someone back in another location, and they've got things set up so that if they're making movements with their hands, the robot controls it, and they can see what the robot sees using the camera and using this 3D headset.
That hasn't been done before?
It has, but not on this level where, you know, I think their budget on this is about $20,000. Usually these types of things start in about the $75,000 range. So,
really?
So the fact they're building this, I mean, this could be a very inexpensive way for police departments to get robots.
On the cheap, right?
Totally.
The biggest challenge, Christina, is what here?
So the biggest challenge is going to be, okay, how well will this actually work in practice? I mean, I think that this would work really well to maybe augment an existing police strategy. So maybe you have an officer and you have this robot that can act as a second pair of eyes, but the challenge is going to be making sure that it can maneuver itself around and actually accomplish what it needs to accomplish.
So they're talking about disabled veterans or injured police officers getting the opportunity to go back to work.
Right.
I see other advantages here. Do you?
Absolutely. I mean, you could do all kinds of things with this. I mean, it could be a great way for people to monitor, you know, certain parking areas or to look over areas and say, hey, this is a problem right now. You could have 24-hour guard command where different people could come in and look through the camera system.
So long as they're not writing tickets, I think that's a pretty clever idea.
Absolutely.
Kidding. $20,000 seems to be pennies on the dollar when it comes to technology. But why are they able to do that essentially on the cheap now?
Well, this is what's so incredible. Robotics and virtual reality systems and cameras have become so inexpensive that a lot of these consumer things that we use and you can buy every day are actually becoming good enough quality to use out in the field. So there's this big disruption happening where we can actually take consumer-based technology and use it in professional circumstances.
Do you see a danger in this eventually? I mean, if everything is robotic and we're controlling all this, you know, by way of camera or otherwise, you see a danger there?
There can definitely be a danger, and I think you have to look at, you know, cameras on stoplights and the way that sort of thing has happened, where a lot of people get automated traffic tickets. You have to have some sort of actual control and some real person you know, backing things up and saying, okay, this is happening the right way. But I think that it really can increase, you know, how much surface area police officers could cover, disabled or otherwise.
I tell you what, hats off to the students developing this in Miami, Florida.
Absolutely.
6 foot, 75-pound TeleBot. Christina, thank you.
Thank you so much.
From Mashable.com. Great to have you on today.